Hi everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I'm going to do 3 cards this week, all of them out of the mini catalog. We're getting closer and closer to it going live. You'll be able to purchase from it starting September 6th. I think all of mine, if you were expecting a copy from me, you should have gotten tracking number. If you didn't get tracking number, then let me know so I can check to make sure that it went out to you. It may just be the case that your tracking went to a different folder because it comes from Pirate Ship and not me. But I do want to check to make sure you all have them. There were a couple of people that requested catalogs over the weekend, and I'll get those out today or tomorrow. I have a busy week. I have 2 work days this week because then we head to Vegas for Stampin' Up's backstage event. So with this, probably by the end of the week, I'm going to close registration for my Try It class. If you go to, I should have put it on top, this video, you can find out all about Try It class. This is actually the first project. It is an online class. We will use all of the papers. We're doing 10 projects from the mini catalog. So we just work our way through the catalog, and so you get to sample and try all of the ribbons, the embellishments, a lot of the paper. We'll have, you can see there's a new folder, there's new dies. There's no stamping, it's fun folds. You get this PDF, so you can, this is from the last catalog. I'm at 2% on my iPad. It needs to be charged in. But it comes and it has a playlist. So this is yours forever, and you can keep using the fun folds and the templates. And then it gives you measurements and pictures of all the cards. But it is going to close. There are 2 ways you can participate. Actually, there's 3. If you're on my team, you can get the packet for free. And those of you that are on my team, if you haven't reserved yours yet, you need to do that by the end of the week as well. So team members get them free. Then if you're overseas, I can't send you anything, or if you feel like you're going to buy all this stuff anyways and you just want to do the videos in the PDF, you can do that, or you can do the full packet. So information can be seen in this video. Then I am going to open, I was hoping to get it open this week. It might be next. I may still get it done tomorrow. The registration for my upcoming class, Oh Holy Night. This is a full suite in the catalog. So if you purchase the full suite from me, and I'll have a couple, it puts you right almost at a workshop because it's a giant suite. And I'll have a couple of other suggestions for you to add on to it. But if you purchase it from me, the class will be completely free. And then if you are a demonstrator and you want to purchase it yourself, you can just get the mailed version of the class, and then there will be videos only for that as well. So there are a couple of other things just in case you've missed it. The online exclusives keep going on. Then there's some fun cards. When I do a bunch of videos in a row, I'm like, I feel like I just showed these. And then I have some cards that my friends made, and I keep meaning, I made this one. My girlfriend Tanya made that one, and I'll show Susan's when I do her set in a minute. But I will get pictures of those on at least on my Facebook page, if not. They may already be on my Facebook page, I can't remember. So for this card, we're not going to use a bundle. We are going to focus on 2 different things. This paper does have a bundle. I did not get the stamps in the pinch because that first order you put in from the minis, we can order everything. And it's always large, so something has to go. And this went on that because I knew it's a beautiful paper. It's called Garden Walk. The whole suite's called Garden Walk. It's an all-season paper. So you can see we have this side. This is probably my favorite piece. And then my second favorite piece, I think, is the one that I used today. So we'll try to get most of them in here for you to see. So you can see it's a fun color combination. It's got some poinsettias. The piece I'm going to use today is this one. This is Wild Wheat. Isn't that a fun color combination? I just want to save this piece of paper so I remember to use these colors together. So we're just going to use that. We're going to base our whole design off of that piece of paper. And then I'm going to use, instead of a stamp set, I am going to use a stamp set, but it's in the catalog, annual catalog. I'm going to use these dies. And they are called, I remembered what they called when I made the card yesterday, but I slept. Handcrafted elements. They don't go with anything, like they don't go with the stamp set, so that's always fun. And this one I'm still thinking may make an appearance in the Try It class. I haven't got that far, but you can see how they kind of work here. So they're little sets. So that's how we're going to make the card. I have this piece of paper here, and I want to use it for the front of my card. So I'm going to put this one just a different direction than my other one. So I'm going to do 4 by 5 1/4, just to make the panel for the front. Oh goodness, but now I have to decide, am I going to lose this flower? Am I going to lose those beautiful things down there? I guess it's just going to be a 1/2 inch. So I love, this is like my happy place of colors. So I could have mounted it on Poppy. I could have used the Wild Wheat. I could have used Mossy Meadow. I went with the Coral. Look how pretty it is. But this color combination is fabulous. And then I'm going to take this piece here, which now these are also going to go a different direction. I'm going to cut this 5 1/4 for now, and then we'll trim it down a little bit after. I can go ahead and trim it. Oops. So 5 1/4 there, and then we only need this to be, we don't want to cover up all those flowers. Let's do 1 inch. I didn't measure it on my other one. I just stamped and then trimmed around it. So 1 inch. So we'll use that. Oh, nope, this needs to be 4. That's why I have those envelopes, so I can put all these little pieces, but I cut the wrong size in the envelope. So, sorry, that's 1 by 4. And then we'll be able to put it here. Then for the other piece of paper, I'm going to use the Rose Gold Metallic. And it comes in 3 different colors. I'm going to use it a couple of times this week because I was in a hurry. And so when I created my things, if it was already out on the table, it had a really good chance of being used again. Although the cards are very, very different, the ones that have the rose gold. So there are a couple of tips I found with this die because they are so intricate. So when you use them, you're going to see that one of them has the full, you can see that it has a full place that's going to cut. This over here is going to all be outlines. So I want this to just be an accent color, although I think with this paper you can't go wrong. So I'm going to put my accent here so it cuts in the copper, and then I'm going to do this one here. This one I did have a little bit of trouble with because the first time I like to run them through once, just the first time I use them just once to see how they cut, and then I thought a back and forth might do it, and I was still having a trouble, and I'm pretty sure my plate isn't part of the problem because it has so many cuts in it. The more cuts your plates have, the less pressure there is for it to cut whatever the word would be. So I'm going to go back and keep them from popping around. Just kind of hold on to it. Once the machine grabs it, you're good. So I'm going to take this out carefully. It's early and my girlfriends will be texting, so even though my phone's turned off. So I flip this one over, I can see it's cut, and that one cut fine after one pass on the other one. This one, though, was the one, oops, and I moved it. So we'll hope for the best. Yeah, that one's cut. So we're good. Give me just a second and I'll get rid of all of the pieces. Aren't those pretty? This one, I think that you could not knock all the pieces out, which I'm a huge fan of when I use die. Sometimes I like the interest, but this die does that on its own, and you'll see what I mean once I've knocked all these out. So here we are. It makes a little bit of a mess. Isn't that pretty? And I'll show you how those work. We're going to glue those together. I did think about using the adhesive sheets, but here's my thing with the adhesive sheets. It makes it one more level that has to cut through, and all of this would have adhesive sheets on it. But I am going to tell you that I'm thinking about doing some kind of a puzzle thing with this later, and then you would want the adhesive sheets because then you could just stick them all in their places. Super fun die. So we're going to take our fine tip glue, and I'm just going to pop this over here. And there's some, I would not call any of them large, but there's some areas on here that has a little bit of a greater surface. That's where I'm putting my glue. If this gets on the metallic, it will show. So I don't want it to be on the metallic, but this glue is super strong, so you don't need a lot of it. Just get enough on there. And then it just layers. So you do want to try to hit the first place the first times, again, so you don't smear glue. But the ovals just line up, just like that. And the nice thing is, if you're off a little bit, it doesn't matter, because it's so dainty that it looks like it's all supposed to go like that. I'm trying to have you guys see it, and it's harder for me to see if it's straight on there. Push that all down. I smudged a little bit of glue right there, and when I'm done, I will show you what I mean by that. Then I'm just going to take a block. I'm going to lay that there to have that set, and that will set that glue for us. Now there are no, I didn't have a stamp set, so I went with Artistically Inked, and my original idea was to use the hello, but I love this happy birthday. I like that it's a clean, simple look. So we're going to take this. I did not leave myself a lot of space, but I don't need it. I'm going to stamp it in Versamark. I wanted something to kind of brighten the card up because these colors are very 70-ish. It's like you just walked into somebody's 1971 kitchen. I'm going to stamp my happy birthday on here in the Versamark. And then I have my white powder. Shake off any extras, and then we're going to heat set that. Isn't that white fun on the wild wheat? I thought that Pebbled Path was going to be my new favorite ink color, but actually I've used probably wild wheat as much as anything. So now let's take our card. You can see that this is cut 11 by 4 1/4, and that is because I have a bunch of them left from a class, so it was over in my thing. So I'm like, well, we're gonna work with this. So originally I thought when you cut your card this direction, it's easy to tie ribbon around, but I didn't want that much ribbon on this card. Let's stick this on here. And then for the ribbon, I'm going to use this as part of the suite of products, the Garden Walk. This is Calypso Coral, and it is braided linen trim. So it's a little bit stiff, this ribbon, so I didn't want my bow to be giant. So you need to have enough to work with because it's also kind of hard to tie, but I'm going to show you a little trick that I just discovered when I was trying to tie this tiny little ribbon. So the new ends of the Take Your Pick tool, there's new attachments that you can get. I don't know if you knew that, but one of them is this fun little hook. It's got a little glue dot on it. Those things end up everywhere, don't they? So I'm just gonna put this on here. I'm gonna tie it, and then when I need help pulling that ribbon through, that's gonna grab it for me. So even though I have nails, sometimes it's hard to grab it. And then I thought I need a crochet hook. And then I remembered we have that new little tip. So tie this. You can see what I mean. It's not the easiest ribbon in the world to work with, but it's super pretty. And it finishes off this card fine. So once you get this first knot tied, not as difficult, but it kind of has a life of its own. So just tie a knot, have it be a strong knot so it doesn't move and come untied, because this ribbon can also come untied a little bit. So I'm going to add a drop of the glue to mine at the end to make sure it doesn't come untied. So now whichever way the ribbon's going, which mine's going this way, that's going to be my first loop. So tie that here. And then this part right here, I could not get that through. So if you just take this, you can grab it. But this will just pull that right through. So much easier than fighting with your nails to try to get it. And then again, pull this tight, but like I said, I am going to add a little bit of glue. So it doesn't look great right now. We'll fix it up once we get it on the card. So we have this, that's set. Now I can have my space back. That wasn't the best spot to do that. So I'm gonna put this on, and that will help this not move. I'm gonna use 2 sizes of glue dots on this card because you can, dimensionals. Oh, I should have finished my first cup of coffee before I started filming. So I'm gonna put 3 on here because it's just designer series paper, so it's not as sturdy as if it was a cardstock layer, but it's beautiful. So put these 3 here. And it doesn't, just towards the bottom of the card. Just kind of eyeball it. Okay, now we're going to take this ribbon. I just kind of want to show you how to work with it. So I'm going to put those bows back up because where I pulled tight on them, actually it needs to be pulled a little tighter. Oh, that's pretty good. So if you just see, they went from being kind of smashed. This bow's bigger than my other one, but that happens when I film, so you can make sure that you can see it. I'm gonna take my scissors and snip this. And now it's pretty, but it's still a little, I want it to be a little softer. So take your little crochet end tip, hook tip, I don't know what it's called, and just start pulling this. And it frays that out nicely and it softens the whole look of it. This one might not need a drop of glue. My other one, because it's tinier, I didn't want it to be as big and I pulled it really tight. Go, and then just kind of pop those up again, and then you have a really pretty ribbon. So let's get this stuck on here. So we have some places on here that, like I said before, are larger than the others. So I'm going to take my mini glue dots. Oh my goodness, my mini dimensionals. You guys know what I mean. Maybe you're correcting as you watch with me. So all these places where it's big enough, just stick a full one. You don't want to see it underneath because there isn't any white on the card, so make sure they don't overhang. And the other thing this one's good for is to kind of move that if they're stuck, and then it takes these little tops off, the tiny ones, really well. So just pull them right off. And then you do need to have something on this side because you don't want that card to smash down, but these are all too big. So I just took some of these and I cut them into thirds, because if you cut them in half, they're still too big. That's how tiny those little things are. So just cut a couple of the tiny dimensionals into thirds, just like that. And see, that's a third of it, and it's still, because these little suckers are not large, but now we have a size that will work for the tiny little leaves over here. It's kind of like playing the operation game. So there we go. Get the tops off of these. These you'll want to make sure are pressed on there because there's not much holding them on. So press them on and then pull the backs off. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of put this towards a side. You don't really want this right in the middle because this isn't middle-ish. Then you don't have to worry about it being straight. But it's plenty sturdy once it's on there. Is that not beautiful? And then these may be my favorite embellishments out of the upcoming holiday catalog. So they're probably going to be my free gift with purchase for September. So if you like them, they're blooming pearls, then you'll want to make sure you use the host code when you put your order in. So they come in the gold and then, I'm not sure, a pink color and some peacock, maybe moss. I don't know what the colors are, but they're beautiful. See how this tip works for that. So I'm going to use some gold to kind of go with our rose gold. And then one of the green ones. And then let's use a little baby pink one. I realize there's no pink on the card, but this is rose gold, so it kind of picks that up. Isn't that beautiful? Let me pick it up so you can see the way those dies work. So this one goes that direction. That went down there because I cut the paper the other way. And I realized on this one, I did cut this 5.5 to have the whole card. This is a little bit shorter. So same card, just a tiny bits of variation. I think I like all the paper. I think I like the full piece of paper better because it's just such a pretty paper. And then remember when I was sad because I had to cut that off, I didn't have to, I could have got another 1/4 inch, which you don't think a 1/4 inch makes a big deal until you see that. Then there is a difference. So catch me back. I don't know what order I'm going to post these in. I do have 3 videos that we'll post this week, tutorials. And if you're interested in my Try It class, head to my website. Or if you're on my email list, I will send a couple of emails out this week that has the registration link. Because I do think it's very close to being full. And here's the deal. I don't have time to check exactly how many people have registered for it yet. But I knew at last count it was already pushing. My husband started cutting paper, and it's already getting really close to the amount that I had him cut paper for. So everybody have a great week, and I'll catch you back here later. Bye.